As Britain starts moving towards a cashless society, GB News is calling on the government to protect the status of cash as a widely accepted means of payment in the UK until at least 2050.
Now, the GB News Don't Kill Cash campaign is gaining significant momentum. The People's Channel continues its fight to protect vulnerable Britons who rely on cash and, some would argue, are being left behind.
Well, the petition has now topped, pretty incredibly, 163,000 signatures. It only launched on Monday. And this is all, of course, to help save the pound in your pocket. So if you do want to get involved, grab your phone. You can scan this QR code and sign it.
I don't think we have the QR code up quite yet, but we'll get that up in a second. The website to go to is www.gbnews.com/cash.
Yeah. Well, we're joined now by the founder of Pimlico Plumbers, Charlie Mullins. Oh, and there's your QR code for you there. So you can go up to the TV screen now with your phone, scan that in, and you can sign the petition there. But we're joined now by our guest, founder of Pimlico Plumbers, Charlie Mullins, and GB News economics and business editor Liam Halligan to discuss this. Good morning to you both. Really, really good to have you both with us. Charlie, let's start with you, shall we? Why do you feel so passionate about keeping cash in our pockets?
Yeah, well, I think it's unnecessary to change over. There's a lot of people that are not sort of digital savvy and they're going to suffer by it. Not just old people, many people, like whether it be, you know, charity workers or homeless people on the street and just anybody that you may even tip or even in a restaurant. So they're going to suffer by not us having to put our hand in our pocket. You know, and it's also very uncomfortable, I think, giving out your details to every Tom, Dick and Harry. And I think it's just going to cause more fraud. I think people are not going to be able to budget properly, and I think they're going to lose control over the money. And the other thing you've got, of course, children are not going to get used to dealing with money and not understand the value of it.
Like pocket money.
Well, pocket money, gifts, presents, you know, go down the shop and get us something. I just think it's an unnecessary thing. I mean, we're very British. We love the British pound. Why take it away? It's just going to cause so many problems, and I think a lot of overspending is going to happen with people. I think they're just not going to be able to control things. So I don't see it as a good move. I think your campaign's brilliant, and undoubtedly, you know, I'm in on it, and so I'm 163,000 at the moment. Yeah. So why make people suffer when we don't need to? Why shouldn't we just make it easier for them? I mean, do you want to give you... I mean, someone comes up to you in the street, do you want to give them your credit card details? We're already dubious about it. Now we're just saying, oh, go on, take what you want kind of thing. So I think it's a wrong move.
No, certainly this is a campaign that is gathering momentum. But, Liam Halligan, there are some businesses that find it a lot easier to accept card payment, find it a lot easier to accept those quick phone taps, don't necessarily want to be dealing with counting up the till at the end of the day. I remember when I worked in a student bar, that was the bane of my life, having to count all of the money at the end of a day. Are there not some businesses here that would rather move to a cashless society?
There are massive vested interests that want to move to a cashless society. Tom, you've got lots of big businesses. They don't want to incur those cash handling costs, as you say. You've got, you know, governments around the world. They want to make sure that they're getting their tax dollar on everything that we do, so they don't like cash. I think above all, you've got the big tech companies who want to monitor everything that we do through our digital footprint, if you like. Surveillance capitalism, they call it. They can follow what we do and then they can flog our activities, what we buy, when we buy, how much we pay to third parties, so they can sell us more stuff that we don't need using money that we don't have. Look, there are 5 million of us in the UK who still rely on cash every single day. There are still 6 billion transactions a year in this country that rely on cash. But have a quick look at this graphic. Back in 2012, still 60% of all transactions in this country were cash. It is now 30% because of the rise of smartphones and online transactions, of course. By 2035, it's going to be less than 10%. That's according to UK Finance, the sort of industry body for Britain's banks. And then we've got these cash deserts as well. A fifth of ATMs have closed since 2018, and a lot more closed before that. So for a lot of old people, this is terrible. If you're a little old lady, a little couple, you're driving into a town, you want to park, you haven't even got a smartphone. 10% of Britain's households aren't on the internet. We've got to get real. We are stopping a big chunk of society taking part in society because we are getting rid of cash. So don't kill cash. gbnews.com/cash, and you can push that up to 250,000. Look, we're going to get a parliamentary debate out of this, at least, because we've got 100,000. Let's get it to 250,000 and really make some noise.
And I guess, Liam, as well, the point of all of this is the point of choice. I mean, you can use cards when you want to, when that's convenient for you, but we don't want to kill cash. And this also feeds into the idea of banks closing, doesn't it, Charlie? Because you can be paid cash, but then you've got to find a bank in order to pay it in, and that's becoming more and more difficult.
Yeah, well, I think they're just pushing us into a corner which we don't need, and I think the other problem you're going to have there is, what about when you're out and about and your phone don't work or the card don't work and you've got no cash? It's going to make it very difficult. I think it's just so unnecessary, and I think what they're trying to do, as Liam says, is just put us in a situation where they're controlling us. And look, we've earned the money. We should be able to have it how we want to have it and spend it how we want. I don't want to go in the shop and say, buy my fiancé or... Well, his fiancée, yeah. No, I was going to say our girlfriend, but fiancée.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Steady, thank you. And all of a sudden, like, she gets a little note saying, I've spent whatever, man, you know, and you just don't need all that, do you? I mean, it's going to make it so much... And what Liam said was right. So many people are going to be left behind on it. And you've still got people that haven't got bank accounts, you know, some of the older people...
Over 1 million of us, over 1 million UK adults can't get a bank account. Not just because they're Nigel Farage or politically exposed, because the bank doesn't think they've got the bona fides. They might not have been living at an address for a long enough period. They might only be on benefits. If you haven't got a bank account or you haven't got a smartphone... If you're one of the 10% of households not on the internet, so that's older people and some kids, how are you going to do anything?
And then you've got the banks are going to obviously increase their charges. I mean, they charge already for certain card use, and I think that if everybody's taking a card only, they're going to put that charge onto everyone. So, I mean, it's a crazy idea. I mean, you know, we're British, and British people love a pound note in their pocket.